this is the look. My production value is low. So I'm going to start off this look by priming my face with the MAC Natural Radiance Primer. This is my favorite face primer at the moment. I've been using this one for a good while. And I like to prime my face while I'm doing my eyes so that the primer kind of has time to sit and, you know, relax on the skin. So I'm just going to press this in pretty much all over and just work it into the skin. Perfect. Fan the face. So I'm going to go ahead and start on my eyes. I like to do my eyes first. That way if I get really messy, I can come through and clean it up without messing up the foundation and concealer later. So for my eyes, I'm going to prime with, you know, the good old MAC paint pot. Mine has been well loved. You can't really see, but I need to buy more, and I hope this never goes away, ever. So I'm just going to prime my eyes. I'm going to use a MAC 240, I think this is a 242. My lettering all wubbed off, but it's just a synthetic flat shader brush. So you pick up a lot. I find that this product actually works best when you use a lot. I've seen people put on a really sheer amount and complain it doesn't do anything. And like I said, I feel like it just really grabs product better when there's a metric ass load on there. So we're just gonna go in and glob that all over your face. Don't be afraid to be messy. I apply with a really heavy, messy hand, and then I clean it up later. I'm just gonna use a really fluffy NARS brush to kind of soften that out. It's fluffy and it gets the job done. And that kind of helps the paint pot kind of set a little bit too when you work it in like that. So now we do the other eye. Okay, so I have my eye primer on. I'm going to be using a mix of the NYX Sugar Trip Squad palette from their holiday collection. Really, really beautiful bright colors. Already super affordable when it came out. When I went into Ulta and it was 75% off because they were clearancing. So, and then I'm going to be using a little bit of this Sleek palette. This is the version 2 Ultra Mattes. So Sleek is super affordable. They're a pressed mineral pigment, so they blend super easy. But yeah. So I'm going to start off with, really, I was drawn to this palette because of this chartreuse color. I love chartreuse. It's one of my favorite things. So to really help that pop a little bit more, I'm just going to go in with the NYX Milk Pencil. You all know about this by now. That white base really makes everything pop. So we're just going to put that on the lid. And having the paint pot on underneath these jumbo pencils helps to really keep them from creasing, I've noticed. So I'm going to take that same brush that I used to smooth out my paint pot, and we're going to use that to blend out the white so it's nice and even. So for this color, for the chartreuse, I'm going to take a really small shader brush. It's nice and compact. This one's actually an old Bare Minerals brush from way back in the day. It's called their tapered eyeshadow brush, if anyone has that. So I'm going to pick up that chartreuse color, and we're just going to press it into that white. And I'm only going to come about maybe 3/4 of the way. Stop about there. So leave a little bit of space right at the outer corner, kind of like if you're looking at yourself, where your iris ends, and leave that space on out. Out? Leave it empty. Shablam! So now I'm going to come in with my Sleek palette, and I'm going to be placing this foresty green here, which is literally called Fern. And we're going to use that on the outer corner. And we're just going to press that. Oh yeah. As Trixie would say, now we're cooking with gas. And you're going to get some fallout, and that's okay. That's why we did our eyes first. And these colors I'm really just pressing in, because I notice sometimes these can go a little bit muddy, but you have to work with them the right way. So that is gorgeous. It might not look like that on camera just yet, but it will. Oh no. See, yeah. This is why you should really use multiple brushes. But I'm lazy. That's how I work. Slap color on and blend it out later. I'm going to pick up a clean brush now to kind of blend those two colors back together. And for that, I'm just going to use the 239. And I'm just kind of feathering the chartreuse color back and forth between where those two colors meet. So now I'm going to start building out my crease, and that's going to be pretty much using colors exclusively from the Sugar Trip Squad palette. So for my crease building, one of my brushes that I really love is the MAC 221. It is a slightly thinner, fluffier version of the 217 that they have. Morphe also has a brush that's comparable to this, but I don't have that one, so I don't know its number. So I'm going to start building my crease, actually taking this nude shade here. I think I pointed at the nude. This one. And we're just going to kind of lay that down so the other colors don't skip or grab too much. And this will also help us feather out the edges of those other colors. So now with that same small brush that I used for the nude color, I'm going to take this kind of, I really want to call it apricot, and all I can think of is when Willem came for Gigi Gorgeous, telling her that it's pink. It's an apricot-y, peachy, whatever. And that's just going to start going in the crease. It's a Real Techniques crease brush. There we go. And one thing I like to do is I'll bring this part of my crease color in to just touch my eyebrow, because I feel like it just helps to lift my eye a little bit more, because like I said, I have really small eyes. So now I'm going to we're just going to jump right into the darker red here. Okay, I'm not entirely sure where I lost you because my card got full. Anyway, what I'm doing currently is taking the darkest color from the Sugar Trip Squad palette. Well, not the darkest color, but the darkest true red. And putting that through like the very base of the crease. Okay, so you can see I have a lot of fallout and just messiness under here, and like I said, we're going to clean that up in a minute. So this is where I'm going to leave the eye for now. I'm going to clean up this under eye, and then we're going to get into skin. So now I'm going to get started on the face makeup. So I'm going to do concealer first, and then I do foundation. So I'm going to work from a little metal mixing plate. I got this on Amazon with a spatula for like $6. So for my concealer, I use the MAC Pro Longwear. As you can see, mine is well loved and is getting to that point of almost having nothing left in it. So I'm going to use a dual-sided brush. This is the MAC 235. I think this was a collection only. But I'm going to use this. So again, Morphe has a really good dupe. I'm going to use the synthetic side to pick up the product, and then the natural hair side to blend. And we're just going to kind of fill that empty space right there. So kind of cut my crease a little bit. Beautiful. It looks like I rested. I look like a normal functioning member of society. So that's about the coverage I like. You don't need a ton of product. It just does the work if you just let it do its job. And for my foundation today, I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Water Weight, which does not have water in it. It's actually a silicone-based foundation. They say water weight because it is a hydrating formula. You do need to shake it pretty vigorously because the pigments settle to the bottom and separate from the hydrating agents. Just because it is still kind of cool outside, and I live in the Midwest and our weather is temperamental, so my skin is unhappy. So you shake it up. It has this handy little dropper. I am not going to drop it directly onto my face because I think that's just silly. So I have in my hand the two brushes that I really like for foundation, just in general. I have the MAC 170 and the Morphe M439. This one is crazy popular. I know everyone loves this brush. This one is comparable. It's nice and dense, just like the 439, but unlike the 439, it has this like slant to it, which is really, really nice. It fits the contours of your face really well. So I'm going to use this one today, but you could totally use the 439 if you like. So we're just going to pick our product up. I like to stamp it just on the surface of the brush. And then we're just going to plop, 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 plop all over your face. I get it just into the edges of my beard. And then just kind of start buffing it in. So this is a medium coverage, medium buildable, if that. I'm using the shade NC42. My skin is quite a bit darker than it looks naturally. Because I'm so golden, it doesn't show the depth of this color as well as someone who maybe has warmer skin. And I'm just meeting the edges of the concealer. I'm not going right over where I put the concealer. Make sure you get your nostrils. A lot of people forget, like, the nose is part of their face. And then just under, I don't use a ton for this area, just to blend color, using pretty much whatever's left on the palette. And then whatever's left in my brush, I kind of feather throughout the beard area. Looks good, feels good. It's super lightweight. It's a silicone, so once it dries on the skin, it moves with the skin rather than looking like it's sitting on the skin. It kind of acts like a second skin. How many times can I say the word skin? And then just to set that, I'm going to take my MAC Select Sheer Powder. It is exactly that. It's a sheer setting powder in NC40. It doesn't have a ton of color. It is sheer. So to use that today, it comes with a powder puff. I usually throw those away because I like brushes. I'm using a Sonia Kashuk brush that I got at Target for $5 because it was being clearanced. She has really, really lovely brushes, and this one is so soft. If you like to bake, this would be a really good brush to kind of dust away the bake because it is very fluffy. But I'm just going to use it using the flat side of it to pick up my powder. And then we're going to press that in to set. And don't be alarmed, I use a lot of powder. I'm using a pressing motion, and then we're going to dust it off later. Really set the forehead because I sweat a lot. And one thing I like about silicone foundations is that unless they are formulated to dry matte, they naturally have a really skin-like look. Where they're not matte, they're not really dewy. But they can be altered and formulated to be matte or to be super, super dewy. But a, like, natural state silicone foundation that hasn't been designed to be matte or dewy is just going to look like skin. Nice. So now the face is set. I'm going to do the rest of my eye, and then we'll do bronzer and highlight, and I'm done. Oh, and eyeliner and mascara. obviously. So I'm going to take this shade from the Ultra Mattes palette. It's kind of like a warm, it's a warm brown, but I would call it a terracotta. I'm going to take this small tapered pencil brush that I just got from Ulta Morphe. This is the 507, M507. It's a really stiff but malleable, like it's bendable, but it's not really like fluffy. Pencil brush. A lot of pencil brushes are very, very stiff. So that color is just going to go right under my eye. Just to define it and kind of complement those warmer red tones, but not really add too much drama under here. And for the size and shape of my eye, I usually stop color right about at the edge of my pupil, in between my iris and pupil, when I'm looking at myself forward. Keeps my eye open, but gives me that definition. But you can come down kind of far if you like. And I do. This look started out, I was kind of like, I don't know. It could be bad, it could be good. The green's a little more kerfuffled than I would like it to be, but I'm not too mad at it. Just gonna pick up more of that and go right back over the lid. I don't know what happened here. Probably my concealer phase. I'm gonna take the NYX, it's like a brow wax pencil. It's their eyebrow shaper, but it's a wax. Clear wax. And this is just going to help my brows lay down flat because my brows are pretty thick and monstrous. Covering them is literally probably the longest portion of my drag looks. Get them to lay flat, and then I'm going to take a spoolie. I'm using a MAC brow pencil. I'm not sure if they make these ones anymore. It's their Volux brow liners. It's like a powder that's compressed into pencil shape. So I'm going to take the spoolie that's on it and just kind of help tame my brows a bit more. Okay, so now I'm going to use the other side of that pencil, which is the actual pencil, and just kind of fill in my brows. I like my brows dark and heavy because I am a weird goth kid at heart. So like you see, I like a really sharp, defined, heavy brow. It's not too bad, I don't think. Ahead. Picking out a liner. Gonna get it right. Sometimes you have to sharpen your liners, and that is okay. I'm going to be using Smolder from MAC, which is wildly popular, as it should be. It's a really great pencil. For my liner, I don't mind usually if it gets a little smoky or a little smudgy. One thing I like to do is I'll take a napkin or a tissue or a paper towel, kind of fold it over, put the pencil in it, and lightly press and twirl the pencil, and that actually gives you an even sharper, more defined point. So for my bottom lash line, that's just going to go right in the waterline, only as far as the shadow went. Like so. And it'll travel down and start to blend with the shadow, which is exactly what I want. And then for the top line, I'm only going where the darker green color is. I'm leaving a lot of that space unlined, which you might say, but Jacob, why? Because I want to. And also because a lot of liner will close off my eyes, and I want that green to be really bright. And then for my mascara today, I'm going to be using the MAC Pro Beyond Twisted Lash. The packaging on this is actually really cute. I like it. Packaging is kind of a big draw for me. It's elegant. So this one actually has a bendable wand, which is crazy. Helps with the angles. If you have problems, this helps. But for me, I just kind of go in. I didn't curl my lashes because I didn't want to. And this is also a curling mascara, so it's going to add lift and curl anyway. And with the shape of my eyes, when I curl my lashes and use a curling mascara, it's going to get all over my eye look. So it doesn't add a ton of definition, but for the most part, I don't like a lot of definition when I'm doing a boy look, and that is a look when I'm clearly dressed as a boy. If I'm doing drag or I want something that's more glam, which honestly is rare when I'm not in drag, I will do lashes and a lot more volume. But as a boy, I like my natural lashes. If you want to add lashes to the look, by all means, please do. But this gives me enough definition, and I'm happy with the result. For my bottom lash line, I pretty much stick to the same mascara all the time. And that is the MAC Extended Play Lash. This one is phenomenal. It's a tubing mascara. So what that means is it actually forms a tube around your lashes as it dries. So when you remove it, these are also called warm water removal mascaras. Some brands will call them that. But when you remove them, it'll actually come off as a tube. So it's going to look like your lashes are coming out. They're not. It's the mascara. But I like this for my bottom lashes because it really separates them and keeps them from looking too spidery. But sometimes I like a spidery lash. Again, because I'm weird. I like to do weird things with my face. For my bronzer today, I'm going to be using MAC Refined Golden. I'm going to show you the packaging that I'm using just because it's the one I have, or the one I pulled out. But this is from the Alluring Aquatics collection that they had a few years ago. But what I do is these inner pans, the black rim, are removable. So you can pop them out. And because Refined Golden is a permanent color, I just buy a new one and pop it in the collection packaging. Because I want to keep this one, it works. And I'm just going to actually use my same Sonia Kashuk brush for my bronzing, because it is really fluffy. And now I'm just kind of like stabbing the brush into it. So we're going to just bronze up the face. This one can go kind of crazy, kind of fast. So you don't need a ton. I'm just adding some warmth through my face because it is not warm and I want summer so I can lay by the pool and tan and have a margarita or 5. Really work it into the skin. I'm going to be putting on a wig at the end of this because I like to wear makeup with hair. That's just me. I think I look better with makeup when I have hair. And as you can see, I don't really... I don't. It's a fact. I'd get over it. I did. Took me long enough. So we are bronze. I don't really do blush as a boy, but I do highlight. So for my highlight, I'm actually going to be using this Model's Own palette. And honestly, I bought it because it was being clearanced out at Ulta, and I was like, it's $3, I'll try it. My mirror is gross, but it has 3 shades. Yes, so it's Maple, Dolce, and Sugarcoat. I cannot read upside down, I'm sorry. But these are really, really lovely. They swatch beautifully. Like, look at that. That is obnoxious. I don't know if that's really going to show up on here. But these are really lovely. And I have a propensity for going overboard with my highlight. So I'm going to use a really fluffy fan brush. This is the Morphe one. An M310. Sorry, that took me a second. So I'm actually just going to go in with Dolce, which is the, or no, Sugarcoat, which is that simple one. Simple. Center. And we're just going to get that glow. And I keep mine right at the highest point of my cheekbone. And I like a lot. I do. I like to shimmer. So I just put the brush and wiggle it back and forth in that same spot. And that's going to give me the look. And then I do a tiny, tiny bit on the nose, not a lot. And then I don't do the center of my forehead. I do from this brow ridge, because it's going to give you the forehead highlight without looking oily or shiny. And now I know what you're thinking. Where's the brow highlight? So you can see the Painterly is lighter than my skin, so that gives me a good amount of highlight there already, but I want some shimmer. And because this look is reds and pinks, I'm going to come in with, oh my God, the NYX, this is the Sugar Trip Squad highlighting palette from the same collection. So it came with a good amount. I mean, this is 6 highlights. That is awesome for the price it was. So I'm going to take, I'm actually going to mix these two together, this pink and the kind of gold one next to it. And for that, I'm just going to use the Morphe M542. It's a super, super tiny brush. I picked this up at Ulta because I was like, that is tiny. I thought the two, whatever MAC brush I used earlier was really small. This one's even smaller. So I'm just going to go back and forth between the colors, and we're just going to use that to highlight. And this is going to apply really wispy and really soft. It's not crazy. And that's that. And that's pretty much the look. I don't do a lot of lip when I'm doing a boy look. But what I will put on is like something that's more conditioning. Just to give me that glossy look, but without being a gloss. And I'm gonna slap on some hair and we're done. All right, so this is the hair I chose. I got this one forever ago at one of my local wig shops. It is my favorite to wear as a boy. I just love this cut, I love the color. Not gonna lie, I bought it several years ago because it made me think of Cora from Vintage or Tacky. And I love her, so I was like, I'm gonna buy her hair. But this one definitely needs a wash and a straighten and but thank you guys so much for watching. If you want to support my content or enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit your little ring ding bell button, which is somewhere below around me. I don't know where it is. Sorry. Have a good one. That's a terrible sign off. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys on the next one. That was also terrible. I sound fake. Whatever, I'll be back. I think, so this is the Sugar Trip, gonna talk today, Sugar Trip Squad palette. If I can figure out where my sleek palettes went. Phlegm. I'm disgusting. So I've got you guys punched in pretty close, and I'm sorry I keep getting distracted by my screen monitor. Sorry. First YouTube video jitters. Yeah. Pokemon. And this just kind of helps cool me down because I am a warm, sweaty bitch.